Hello fellow makers and welcome back to 3D printed soup. Now if you have any connection with 3D printing and YouTube, the algorithm has probably paired you up with Loot Studios and you've heard that wonderful tune, every new adventure starts in the tav. That one, which just goes round and round and round in your brain, and then they show you a massive 3D printed tavern, which is like 8 floors up, 5 floors wide, and just sits on the table and is absolutely incredibly huge. I had a look at that and thought, I'd like to try and print that, but maybe something a bit smaller. So I had a look at Loot Studios memberships, and I found their basic one, which lets you print the silent coin, which is a slightly smaller tavern. And I love having big set pieces in my D&D and Pathfinder games, so I thought, you know what, I'll subscribe, give it a try, and see if it's worth printing the moderately sized silent coin tavern from Loot Studios. So yes, I have got my Anchor Make and I have got my Creality Ender 3 all primed and ready to 3D print some lovely FDM tavern goodness. And then I'm going to print some of the figures and the doors and the windows all with my Elegoo Mars Ultra and get those in nice resin because figures always turn out better in resin. Before I do, however, thanks to everyone who's liked and subscribed. Hundreds more of you now. If you haven't liked and subscribed, drag your cursor down, click the subscribe button, and welcome to the dodgy drinking establishment, which is 3D printed soup. We haven't cleaned the lines in a while, so drink at your own risk. Right, let's get on and see if we can't print ourselves a fairly sizable D&D/Pathfinder/ any fantasy role-playing game you wish tavern set piece. Let's go to the pub. Every great adventure starts with a great adhesive. In this case, I'm using the Amorite 5-minute epoxy resin. This stuff is strong, so yeah, make sure you wear gloves when you're actually mixing it up. 2-part epoxy, so you just mix one tube with the other, and then you just apply it straight onto the PLA or whatever material you're using. Jam it together, use a bit of tape to hold the two pieces together, and within 5 minutes, it is absolutely locked tight. And within 20 minutes, you're never going to get the two apart again. So yeah, work fast. And yeah, try not to get this on anything you don't want to get on, because after about 30 seconds, you're never getting it out again. But yeah, it's really, really good for gluing PLA together. And here we go, just attaching some walls to some of the bases. And the nice thing about this design is it's all sort of peg and hole. So you can't really get the wrong bits in the wrong place unless you really, really try. And there's some really nice instructions in a PDF as well. So there we go. That's all stuck together. And we'll do that for a few seconds to harden. And once it's hardened, you can attach all the other bits to it. While that's all drying, let's do some of the resin pieces that go in it. So here I've got a drunken bloke that sits on a table. I had the said table, and this all comes pre-supported, so I can basically just chuck this straight into my slicer. In this case, I am using the wonderful Chitu box, but you can use whatever you prefer. Some people like light cheese, some people like the one with the killer whale on. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, there we go. All lovely pre-supported, so yeah, that'll print out nicely. And then I'm going to do some more figures to go in as well, like a barman and a waitress and a mysterious stranger with a pipe. That's nothing to do with Lord of the Rings whatsoever. And of course the doors for the front and back door on the tavern. And yeah, these are looking good. I've never used Loot Studios before, and at the moment I'm quite impressed. To say I'm not sponsored by them, I wasn't given any of these files. it's just nice to try a new file provider. With that sliced, I put my cheap-ass USB stick into the front of my printer. Select the file I want. There we go. And click play. And this should happily print these files. There we go. They look good. And start the unnecessarily slow dipping mechanism. Oh, squidgy. And about 5 hours later, those will be ready to be cured. And then I can base coat and paint them. And here is the finished article. This thing is chunky. There's a few little gaps between some of the walls and some of the bases, but that is what model filler is for. And once that's done, I can then sand it down and then prime it again. And yeah, this is great. It's got lots of lovely rooms, lots of lovely detail. The floorboards look brilliant. I say the nice thing about that is the floorboards, even though there's gaps between them, they are easy to fill. Now I put some NPCs in there. So we've got a hobbit slipping over on one of the tables, a drunk bloke at the bar, the barman, mysterious stranger in the corner, and a half-orc hanging out in the gents here. I printed the doors in resin, so we just put those in there, and you just put a bit of wire down the side of the tiles and they hinge perfectly. This looks absolutely great. I love these figures and I really enjoy this tavern print. I mean, if you can see, some of the walls are a little bit dodgy. They need to be filled, and yeah, a bit of a sanding as well. And I might pop a few of them off and re-glue because I think a few of them have shifted when the resin dried. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. And yeah, I'm very happy that I did my first month subscription with Loot Studios. As I say, I don't get paid by them. I wasn't given these free. It's just nice to try a new miniature provider after using my favourite ones for some time. And there, got the bloke there in the corner who isn't called Strider. The barmaid is hanging out the back there as well with flagons of ale. Everything you could possibly need for a good night at your local fantasy pub. Well, that turned out well. Look at this chunky boy. Oh, I absolutely adore this. This is just the first floor. I'm going to print the second floor in a larger chunk. You can basically print whole sections of this on your FDM printer. I wanted to start off printing it into small sections to see how that turned out. And yeah, it turned out lovely. So next week, bigger sections. And then the week after, I'm going to try printing the roof in resin. So it's going to be a 3-video series. And yeah, this is brilliant. I love the staircase and the bar underneath and all the entrances and exits and all the little windows and the little side rooms, like the kitchen here and the little box room there. And it goes upstairs into where the guests can stay. And yeah, you can have some really good starting off adventure scenes in this. Or, you know, the one where basically you turn up to a dodgy pub, the music stops as you walk in, and the person basically behind the bar says, "We don't like your type around here." And it turns into a wonderful fist fight, and eventually you walk out with a broken nose and being dragged off to the guards. Absolutely fantastic. Loving this. It took a long time to print. I mean, the reason why I haven't done a video last week was basically I was printing this thing. Each section is between 3 and 5 hours on an FDM printer, unless you've got a very fast one. And I don't agree with printing fast. I like printing regular speed, so you get the nice details. But yeah, this is great. It's weighty. I mean, there's a good almost kilograms worth of FDM filament there. It's chunky, but well worth doing. And I'm looking forward to putting the second floor. Then we'll base coat it, and then we'll sand it, then we'll base coat it again, and then we will paint it. So yes, a lovely ongoing project for the next few weeks. Coming next week for floor number 2, and then some more 3D printed figures to go in that as well. So yeah, would I recommend Loot Studios just purely for the free starter kit, which is the tavern and some figures? Yeah, it's not a bad price, and these are some quality miniatures. Whether you want to continue subscribing afterwards is your own thing. They do some great miniature sets each month by the look of it. I'm not sponsored by them. I didn't even get this free. I just wanted to give it a try because it looked fairly awesome. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, very, very much worth a couple of months subscription just to get all the parts and enjoying the print. Thanks for watching 3D Printed Soup. Stay happy and safe. Always leave before it's your round. Keep printing.